Take it down 1627.
Stand up! Stand up! Moving, hold her. Stand up! Stand up now! Stand up!
Air carrier's going to go ahead and fly whenever any.
What could drive a parent to commit such a heinous act as taking the life of their own child? How deeply disturbed must someone be to not only entertain such a horrifying thought, but to meticulously plan it over the course of months? This is the ongoing and tragic case involving Chad Dorman, a father of 3 who inexplicably ended the lives of his children on an otherwise ordinary afternoon, specifically on June 15, 2023, in Clermont County, Ohio. The incident came to light when the police received 2 distressing 911 calls
911, what's your emergency?
from concerned passers-by who had encountered a terrified young girl on the road.
911, where's your emergency?
There's a girl running down the street saying that her stepfather is killing everyone in her family. It's on the corner of where there's a body shop in the fire department. Do you know what road this is?
Okay, what's your name?
Give it into the fire department.
What's your name?
Do you know what road this is? Laura Lindell Road.
You said what?
It's Laura Lindell Road.
Earlier in the day, before the afternoon, Dorman returned home from work earlier than usual. He asked his wife to join him in their master bedroom for a nap, along with their 3 sons named Chase, Hunter, and Clayton. Meanwhile, his stepdaughter was in the adjacent room, occupied in watching TV. Unexpectedly, Dorman drew a rifle and fatally shot his 4-year-old son, Hunter, twice in the head. The 12-year-old girl hurriedly entered the room, witnessing this horrifying scene. She found her mother attempting to shield the injured son from Dorman, who engaged in a fierce struggle. In a desperate attempt, Dorman even resorted to biting his wife as she fought to protect their child. Tragically, during this struggle, Dorman's wife managed to grab the rifle, resulting in her being shot in the hand, and, regrettably, their injured son falling into Dorman's line of fire.
Did you say how or what was happening?
I asked her to get in the car with me, and she said she couldn't leave her family.
As the mother fiercely fought to save her young son's life, the girl instructed her remaining brothers to flee as far away as possible from the scene. Alongside her, the 7-year-old Clayton managed to cover a distance of 300 feet into a nearby field before being tragically shot from behind by his own father. Dorman then pursued his stepdaughter, who was doing her best to carry her last brother, 3-year-old Chase, to safety. When he caught up to them, he demanded that she set the child down and attempt to fire at him. Fortunately, his firearm jammed. Now separated from his siblings, the youngest son ran back to the house where Dorman eventually caught him, while the stepdaughter managed to escape and seek help at the nearby fire department.
But I think she ran to the fire department.
So she went to the fire station. What did she look like? Did she say anything about a baby?
I don't know about no baby. She said she just couldn't leave her family.
Around 4 p.m., law enforcement officers arrived at the scene and found the shooter, a 32-year-old Chad Dorman, sitting calmly near the doorway. Despite their attempts to issue commands, he remained unresponsive, provoking the officers to cautiously approach the house.
Show us your hands now! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up now! Stand up! Stand the f*** up!
EMS to stage and air carrier's going to go ahead and fly whenever any units can advise.
Get your hands out of here. Caliber 21. It's in the air.
Upon inspection, the officers were met with a scene that resembled a horrifying scene from a movie. On the floor, there was a mother in distress, screaming beside the lifeless bodies of her children, all while their father showed emotionless behavior.
Man, I ain't trying to hurt nobody. I'm completely sober. Never did drugs.
63, we're 21. Get the EMS over here. Go on, man.
Hey, are you copying all this? Can I roll over? I ain't gonna hurt you. I ain't gonna hurt nobody.
You got anything on you?
No, I ain't got nothing, man. Phone, that's it. I ain't mad. I ain't nothing. Just make sure that dog don't come out. I don't think he'll bite you. Just don't reach for him and try to grab him and pet him. He won't bite you.
Dowerman's behavior at this moment is quite unusual. He can be heard informing the officers that he poses no threat, asserting that he hasn't consumed any alcohol or drugs. He assures them that he is of sound mind and even considerately warns them about his dog. His assertion that everything is normal stands in stark contrast to the desperate cries of his wife, which are audible repeatedly in the footage from the crime scene.
3 kids down, 16.
63, we're 21. Have EMS respond over here.
You're clear, they're being advised.
A total of 9 shots were fired that afternoon, with one of the boys being shot once and the other 2 enduring 4 gunshot wounds each. Remarkably, he made no effort to harm his wife or stepdaughter, even though he was aware that they had alerted the authorities.
You the only one else inside the house?
What?
You the only one else inside the house?
Yeah.
Sit down right here.
My daughter, she ran over to the fire department.
Sit down.
It's my stepdaughter.
Put him in the cage.
Can you get the wallet out of my back pocket?
Shut up, dude. You have the right to remain silent. You can use it.
Disturbingly, Dowerman displayed no emotional reaction as he walked past the lifeless bodies of his children while being taken into custody by the police. He appeared strangely at ease with the officers detaining him. However, after spending a night in police custody, the harsh reality began to weigh on him. Visibly distressed, Dowerman declined to put on the jumpsuit provided and resisted the efforts of multiple officers as they placed handcuffs on him, preparing for his initial appearance before a judge in court. It's during this court appearance that he will hear the charges against him for the first time and confront both the media and prosecutors, a realization that strikes him suddenly outside the courtroom.
Dad, look at me. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. No, I know. Just take a deep breath for me, okay? I'm going to have your public defender come back and talk to you, okay? And then we're going to go out and we're going to do your hearing. Can you hear me? Do you need a second? Just take a deep breath. Use media out there, okay? When you walk out, you'll see a piece of black tape on the floor. All I need from you is to stand on that piece of black tape, face the judge only, and just listen. They'll say that you have the right to remain silent, and I advise you to use that, okay? Because everything in there is recorded. So I want you, again, just to stand there, look at the judge only. Don't turn to the media, don't turn to anybody in the audience that you may know. Listen to the judge and let your public defender do the talking for you, okay? Do you have any questions for us?
As Dowerman enters the courtroom, the prosecutor precisely details his crimes, characterizing this as an utterly horrific case.
Judge, I asked the court in setting this bond to just begin to imagine their fear. This was the man that every day they woke up looking to for protection, love, guidance in all things. The man they trust more than any other person on earth. The person they rely upon to keep them safe from harm. He was their world, he was their guardian, and he executed them in cold blood. We know that from his admission.
According to a statement made by the perpetrator, it becomes apparent that this act of violence was not a mistake. Instead, it was a carefully planned and deliberate execution.
To make things even more disturbing, Judge, this was no haphazard act. Again, by his own admission, he planned the events of this day. This did not happen on a whim.
It has been claimed that Dowerman had been plotting the murder of his sons for several months, going as far back as October 2022. Additionally, reports indicate that he had not slept for a period of 3 to 4 days leading up to the incident. What remains perplexing to both detectives and journalists is the motive behind his actions. The question that baffles everyone is why a father, even one with a history of abuse, would choose to carry out the execution of all 3 of his own children.
He's confessed to what I believe is the worst crime, at least I hope, that I'll see in my lifetime. I hope it's the worst fact pattern that ever comes before this court.
At this moment, Dorman is clearly shedding tears, which one might interpret as a sign of remorse. However, up until this moment, he hasn't exhibited any capacity for such an emotion. Neighbors have validated his aggressive behavior, portraying him as an individual with a quick temper who frequently raised his voice and was recognized for his cruelty towards his wife.
You felt like he was just angry, generally speaking.
He was every day. Heard him. There wasn't a day he didn't yell at his wife and kids out there.
What would he yell?
All kinds of shit. He was just angry. He knew what he was doing. He planned it. It was premeditated. He shouldn't have a bond. He should never see daylight again, ever in his life. And I think they should execute him the same way the same way he did his sons is the way he needs to go out.
As his prior record goes, Judge, it is fairly minimal. He was charged with domestic violence in 2010. He is not, to my knowledge, on probation community control. Judge, the facts of this case are hopefully like no other we will ever see. When this case gets indicted in the Court of Common Pleas, I am certain that a no bond hearing will be held, and I would hope that would be granted. But at this point, at this juncture, we're going to ask this court to issue a bond we've never asked for before. I'm going to ask for a bond of $20 million. I hope I never need to request such a bond again.
The prosecutor has made a request for Dorman's bail to be set at an exceptionally high amount, specifically $20 million. This strategy is employed to ensure his presence at the appointed trial date and to prevent his release from police custody before that time. In cases involving violent crimes or individuals deemed a flight risk, judges typically establish a substantial bail bond. It's evident in this case that Dorman has been categorized as both. While the details of this case are still unfolding, the prosecutor has publicly stated that he views this as a death penalty case. Consequently, he seeks Dorman's execution as a fitting punishment for a man who brutally took the lives of his own sons.
That these are men and women with families, children, feelings, emotions. They're not some automaton performing a delegated function. They're people.
The exact nature of Dorman's sentence remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. This man must face the most severe consequences for his heinous crimes. If you enjoy watching such incidents, be sure to follow the channel. Till then, stay safe.